So we focused a lot on taking the slide hitter and hitting behind the setter. This kind of feels like the definition of a slide. We always go behind the setter on a slide. But one of the ways to train and develop your slide hitting is actually to do it in front of the setter. And so we can do 1-foot takeoff hitting anywhere along the net because it is so dynamic. And the thing that your setter will really like about setting a ball to the 1-foot slide hitter in front is that she can see the hitter the whole way. This set in front is so much easier to figure out than the set behind me that I cannot see go. I have a hard time getting the visual feedback that I want to see if the set was any good or not. If the tempo is right, or if the location was right, or the distance off the net. It's hard for me to tell when I set the ball behind me. When I set the ball in front of me, the feedback is pretty instant. I see that hitter coming the whole way. So again, as the coach, I may just start here and we work on those same principles. We work on it's 3 steps or it's 5 steps, doesn't really matter, but what matters to me the most are the last 2 steps. We work on that sense of driving the right knee up before attack, getting the draw elbow up. Good. And so what I know is that I can present the ball. I've simplified this as much as possible. So there's no timing element involved for the slide hitter. There's really, it's a pretty simple point to conclude the swing on. She's going to meet the ball right here. As the tosser and as the coach, I need to create landing space for her though. So I hold it like Statue of Liberty like this, and as she hits it, I toss it and I clear out for her with my feet so that I make sure she's not spraining ankles as she lands. So she approaches, she drives the knee, okay? She extends both elbows up in the draw. She drives both elbows up. Good. And then she's finishing elbow over wrist. So right now she's using a 3-step approach. I can ask her to use a 5-step approach. Take 2 steps back. Take another step back. It's kind of irrelevant. The number of steps to get here is totally irrelevant to me. It's about having the last 2 steps where she drives her knee up. So even on that rep, she was so worried about the distance that she elongated, and her last step, she never did anything with her knee, and she was drifting big time. So she might need a couple stutter steps in there somewhere to close the distance or to get the timing right or whatever it is. But the last 2 steps are the most important part. She needs to drive the knee up into the air. Good. And then she finishes elbow over wrist. So now if I want to do the 1-foot takeoff and I want to do it in zone 3 instead, I put her out by the post. Out by the post. Good. Okay. And she closes the distance to zone 3. Again, I can toss this ball, or I can have the setter hit the ball, or set the ball rather. Okay? So it's the same principles. She drives the right knee up. Good. She preps the right hitting elbow up high by the ear when she gets her draw up. So whether she's hitting in front or hitting behind, the slide hit is the same thing. It's a 1-foot takeoff that drives the knee up into the air to translate that horizontal momentum into vertical momentum. Then she wants to get over top of the ball at peak reach by getting her elbow up by her ear, and then she exchanges from the high draw to the fast exchange, exchanging left for right, and then finishing elbow over wrist on her follow through. Let's see a couple more in the 3 zone. Here we go. Do it again. Good, and one more. Drive that knee up. Good.